In a recent community poll that we posted, most of you voted for a comparison between the Pixel 7a and the OnePlus 11R, and the comparison with the S21 FE came in second. So we thought, why don't we do one thing and compare all the three phones in front of me to make the buying decision easier for you, and that's what we love doing here at Trakin English. If you're watching me for the first time on YouTube, I'm Ershad, and I'm pretty active on Twitter, and if you have any questions about these specific phones, I'll try to answer them there as well. Alright, for now,
let the battle begin.
Of all the three phones, the Pixel 7a, the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE are more compact and more handy in comparison to the OnePlus 11R, which is bigger and heavier and of course has a curved display as well. But that's also because the OnePlus 11R packs a lot of quality hardware components, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. As for the most comfortable phone to use among these three, it would be the S21 FE followed by the Pixel 7a and the OnePlus 11R. And when you look at the build of these three phones, Pixel and Samsung actually use plastic for the rear backing material, where OnePlus uses glass, and that glass is actually protected by Corning's Gorilla Glass version 5. But weirdly enough, I do not have clarity on whether OnePlus 11R actually uses Corning's Gorilla Glass protection for the front display as well. In comparison, the S21 FE uses Corning Gorilla Glass Victus and the Pixel 7a uses Corning Gorilla Glass 3. In some form or the other, there are some clear cost-cutting measures used for building these phones. Having said that, Pixel and Samsung make up for those compromises by offering an official IP rating and wireless charging as well. You get IP67 on the Pixel and IP68 on Samsung, which means that on the Samsung you can actually dunk it for up to 1.5 meters for 30 minutes, whereas you can do it only up to 1 meter on the Pixel. If you've come this far, we love making these comparisons for you because it helps you make the right purchase decision. So of course, give us your support by hitting the subscribe button. Another huge advantage on these phones is that they keep the premiumness intact by offering USB Type-C Gen 3.2 support, which is just USB Type-C 2.0 on the OnePlus 11R, which is a huge disappointment considering the 11R is aimed at performance. I'm okay with the use of plastic in the construction of the Pixel and Samsung if they offer functional advantages like these, which are definitely useful for the end consumer. So when it comes to the overall build quality and the functional advantages that you get in the design, I feel that the Pixel and Samsung definitely have an advantage over the OnePlus 11R, despite the fact that it uses a premium material like glass for the construction. As for which one of these looks good, looks are subjective. You guys let me know which one you prefer. I like the Pixel the most. As for the display, you get an OLED panel on all the three phones, specifically AMOLED on the Samsung and OnePlus. The only difference is that the peak refresh rate is 90Hz on the Pixel, where you get 120Hz on Samsung and OnePlus. Now, while testing these devices, I noticed one thing on the Pixel 7a. Because it doesn't use the best quality OLED panel, you'd see a little bit of a discoloration when you look at the display from an angle. Now, this discoloration is an inherent problem of OLED displays, but manufacturers have found a way to sort of cut that down as much as possible, as you see on the OnePlus 11R and the Galaxy S21 FE. Now, all these three panels are HDR certified as well, which means you can watch HDR content on both YouTube and Netflix. Now, being HDR compliant is one thing, and tuning HDR the right way is another thing. And while testing, an HDR video on these three phones, what I noticed is the Pixel 7a and the OnePlus 11R offer the best color accuracy compared to the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE, which is slightly vibrant compared to normal. Now, as for the brightness levels, all these three phones are extremely bright outdoors, and they also get really bright while watching HDR content, which was very surprising for me because I thought the Pixel 7a wouldn't be a bright panel. Overall, when you're looking at the display quality and experience of watching content on it, I would rate OnePlus 11R as the best display of the three, followed by the S21 FE and the Pixel 7a. Now, talking about these great phones, YouTube has a new product buying feature where you can actually go and shop for your favorite products there, and I think the Galaxy S21 FE is up there, so you can actually go check that out, and you can actually purchase the phone from there as well. Hopefully the 11R and the Pixel 7a will also come there, so Pixel will definitely come because of course Google, YouTube, hand in hand. Now, I'm sure that camera experience on these three phones matters a lot, and I'm sure that a lot of you are looking at the Pixel specifically for that reason. And to make it easier, we have a separate camera comparison video where we go into the depths of it, and we've tested almost every single scenario. You guys should go check that video out. It should pop up in a card right now. But for those who are not interested in yet another long video, let me quickly break it down for you. But again, I'd suggest that you watch that video as well. So let's start off with the Pixel 7a, the new phone. The Pixel 7a's photography chops are excellent. You get accurate colors, natural skin tones, very good HDR performance. You also get an improved portrait mode. great color sense consistency between the primary and the ultra-wide angle camera, and great selfies as well. But where the Pixel 7a lags behind is in low-light performance using the primary camera and the ultra-wide angle camera as well, and videography is definitely not its strong suit. Where OnePlus 11R does a good job is by using a very good hardware. The Sony IMX890 is a very sharp sensor, so you get really good fine texture and detail as well. In fact, even the low-light performance of the OnePlus 11R is very good, and so is the videography. But the problem with the OnePlus 11R is the software algorithm inconsistencies that I noticed while shooting with it. Skin tones are not that great. There's a problem with HDR bloom. Something that wasn't a problem with the OnePlus 11 as much, but with the 11R, definitely there are some cost-cutting measures that you can notice when you're shooting with the phones. In fact, even selfies are not very good looking. With the S21 FE, what it has going for itself is its versatility, with the fact that you get an extra telephoto camera, which is a rarity in this price category. And since it's a Samsung, the HDR performance is good, the portrait performance is good, the low light photography is good, and so is the video recording quality. But Samsung's problem is Samsung's inherent problem, and that is oversaturation. Something that might not be a problem for a lot of folks, but for those who want accuracy, Samsung is not the one for you. So between the three, the S21 FE would be my favorite set of cameras because it is versatile, followed by the Pixel 7a, which is my favorite phone for photography, of course, and then the OnePlus 11R. But where the OnePlus 11R actually takes a lead is in performance. Of course, it has the best chip among the three, which is the Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1. In comparison, on the S21 FE, you get Exynos 2100, and with the Pixel 7a, you get Tensor G2, which are basically based on Samsung's same 5nm fabrication process. So when you look at the Antutu score, it is the best on the 11R, followed by the Pixel 7a and the S21 FE. And the same is true for the Geekbench 6 test that we ran as well. But what matters in general usage and for gaming specifically, if you're looking at a performance-oriented phone, is sustained performance. And that's where 11R definitely takes the lead. Once again, it is actually the most stable. It was actually the most stable when we ran the CPU throttle test, where we engaged 40 cores for 30 minutes. In comparison, the S21 FE and the Pixel 7a definitely throttle way more. And I say that because even in our GPU stability test that we run with the 3D Mark Wildlife stress test, the Pixel 7a was definitely lagging behind both the S21 FE and the OnePlus 11R. All in all, when you look at sustained performance, the one that throttles the most and heats up the most is the Pixel 7a, followed by the S21 FE, which is not very far behind. It's very close to the 7a. And then the OnePlus 11R, which is a much better phone in comparison. So when you're looking at gaming, we tried Call of Duty Mobile, and on the Pixel 7a, it can run in 90 FPS, whereas on the other two phones, it can run at 120 FPS, which is absolutely fine. But if you want sustained performance, then OnePlus 11R is the one for you, and you also get better graphics and, just overall better gaming experience. But I must say this, there are a lot of folks who don't care about gaming performance, and when you're looking at daily performance, the Pixel 7a is damn smooth. The animations are absolutely slick, and it just flies at whatever small tasks that you're running on it, whether it's, scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through your Twitter feed, all of that just runs absolutely fine. I didn't face any stutters whatsoever, which is a very good thing. But to be entirely fair, the OnePlus 11R is also a very good performer in daily life. Absolutely smooth animations, very smooth performance, fast and smooth like OnePlus always says. It's very good. It's matched with the Pixel 7a. The S21 FE is also smooth, but not as much as the other two. And what I noticed is that there are definitely a few stutters here and there. Alright, now talking about battery performance, the 11R's battery performance is the best despite the fact that it uses the most powerful chip, but it's got that large 5000 mAh battery which takes it through to 6 hours of screen on time on regular usage. Now here's a fun fact though, the Pixel 7a and the S21 FE, when you compare these two, the Pixel 7a actually has a slightly smaller battery, but I got better battery life out of it compared to the S21 FE. To make it easier for you, the 11R actually lasted me an entire day with about 20% left in the tank. Pixel lasted me the entire day with about 5 to 10% left in the tank, depending on how I was using it. And the Galaxy S21 FE, I had to charge it by the end of the day. The 11R is of course also the fastest charging phone of the three. It supports 100 watt charging speeds, so it takes about 25 minutes for a full charge. And with the S21 FE, you get only 25 watt charging speeds, and it takes about more than an hour for a full charge, which is the same for, of course, the Pixel 7a as well, which supports only up to 20 watt charging speeds. What's funnier is that the Pixel 7a actually has wireless charging support, and so does the S21 FE, but the S21 FE can charge at 15 watt charging speeds, and the Pixel 7a is exactly half at 7.5. So it's basically pointless to use wireless charging with the Pixel 7a, just use wired. Another problem with the Pixel 7a is definitely the network performance. This is something that has carried over from the previous Pixel 7 and the Pixel 7 Pro. Essentially, what we noticed is that Jio 5G returned lower speeds, whether it was download or upload, compared to the 11R and the S21 FE. As a matter of fact, even the network signal is kinda weak on the Pixel 7a compared to the other two phones. So if you're looking at a great phone to begin with, which is of course why you're buying it in the first place, then Pixel sort of doesn't get the basics right. Okay, finally let's talk about the software. The Pixel 7a, of course, as you all know, runs the latest version of Android 13, and it is as stock and vanilla as you can get. Plus, when you buy a Pixel 4, you're always assured of one thing: the latest Android version update and updates for the next 3 years and security updates for the next 5 years as well. Now, OnePlus, of course, has Oxygen OS 13 based on Android 13, which is very similar to Color OS 13. And with the OnePlus 11R, you get a promise of 3 years of software updates and 4 years of security updates, which is very similar to the Pixel, which means that you will get upgrades up to Android 16. The S21 FE, on the other hand, is an older phone. It launched with One UI 4 based on Android 12. Now it has One UI 5 based on Android 13. But then again, Samsung promised 4 years of software updates and 5 years of security updates on the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE. So you will get up to Android 16, which is a good thing. So all these three are matched when it comes to software updates. In fact, they're also matched in premium software experience, because if you actually install, if you do the first setup for the S21 FE, right, there are very few bloatware apps on all the three phones. It's very, very good experience. But if you're looking at refinement and my favorite software experience of these three phones, it would be the Pixel 7a, followed by One UI on the S21 FE, and then Oxygen OS 13. But honestly, I'm not going to pick a winner out here. I just picked a favorite because all these three are very premium, probably the best in the market right now, and what most people want to use. In conclusion, I just want to break it down by talking about each phone and who should buy the phone. So if you're a gamer, if you're a performance nerd, and if you care for great battery experience, fast charging, easily the OnePlus 11R is the one for you. But if you want a good stock Android clean experience with great camera performance, especially with the primary camera and the ultra wide angle camera in daylight, the kind of performance that you expect from very expensive flagships, then the Pixel 7a is the one for you. But one thing I must highlight once again, this is definitely not meant for gamers, and the network performance continues to be an issue. As for the S21 FE, I have recommended this over and over again. It is one of the most balanced overall phone, and now it is available for a killer price as well. It's been discounted and it's available for under rupees 35,000 right now, so it's a great deal. Also, you get that extra telephoto camera, but there are caveats with the S21 FE that you definitely must know about. Is the fact that it throttles a lot and the battery life isn't great either. Thankfully, the network performance is not an issue. So it becomes really difficult for me to pick one phone, but I think I'll compromise the camera experience by using Gcam or something on the OnePlus 11R and pick this one as my winner. Again, my choice, but your choice could vary. And which one do you like? Let me know in the comment section below. And while you think about that, I'll think about my next video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.